If you are called a garbage undead summoner, it must be because you haven't recruited enough skeletons. Chu Ming, the summoner of the undead with full star talent, said. Is the summoner of the undead a trash profession? There are no garbage professions, only garbage players. Awakening 10-star talent, growing rapidly, and comprehensively enhancing skills. When others are still summoning a small skull. Chu Ming's army of undead has begun to conquer all directions. A legendary story belonging to the summoner of the undead has begun. Keywords of the novel. Summoner of the undead, 10-star talent without pop-ups at the beginning of the game, Summoner of the undead, 10-star talent at the beginning of the game. TXT Complete Collection Download, Summoner of the undead, latest chapter reading of the 10-star talent at the beginning of the game. Chapter 1. Global Gamification, I became a summoner of the undead. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Global Gamification, I became a summoner of the undead. A gamified world. Southern Continent. Xianhai City. A slum. In the shack, Chu Ming was reading the Xianhai City daily that he had picked up. A new batch of professionals from Xianhai College have graduated, including 3 hidden professionals. Experts say there are currently no signs of a resurgence of divine-level civilization. Even non-professionals can create a better future with their hands. After reading the newspaper, Chu Ming ate the steamed bun in his hand. I couldn't help but let out a long sigh. How did Yuan Shu end up like this? Hey, I've moved the bricks. Chu Ming is very depressed. But Chu Ming has reason to be depressed. 3 months ago, the Earthling Chu Ming was reborn into this world. A gamified apocalypse. This world experienced the arrival of a cosmic god-level civilization 100 years ago. Games and reality are beginning to merge. Half of humanity awakens into professionals and engages in battles with various monsters in a gamified world. The battle in the dark. The whole world is filled with monsters and terrifying dungeons. More mysterious high-dimensional creatures continue to invade. But human civilization has not completely collapsed. But I survived with strength. Then Chu Ming came after accepting the fact of time travel. Chu Ming actually has certain expectations for this gamified world. Isn't it beautiful to have supernatural powers? What Chu Ming wants most is to awaken various combat professions. Warriors, knights, mages, priests, marksmen, and so on. These combat professions possess astonishing abilities. For example, powerful mages can even destroy a city with every move and gesture. In the world of dangerous games, combat professions are naturally very popular. If not enough, awaken an auxiliary profession. As long as it develops well, it can also become a top presence in the world. And Chu Ming's awakening profession is no profession. The probability of awakening a profession is already only 50%. Half of the unemployed can only play supporting role in social life. In this world of the jungle, full of danger, Chu Ming, who has no profession, is just a despised waste. Chu Ming also wants to fight monsters and equip himself. Sorry, you are not a professional. No combat ability. No one is willing to form a person without a profession. Because he did not awaken his profession, Chu Ming was not qualified to do decent work. Those jobs with good environments and high salaries are controlled by corresponding professionals or related parties. Unprofessional individuals have no choice but to do some manual labor, such as moving bricks on construction sites and pulling coal from mining areas. One day can be mixed up. Earn dozens of yuan a day, so as not to starve to death. If I really starve to death in the gaming world, that's probably the first person to play online games. Thinking of this, Chu Ming couldn't help but burst out again. What kind of garbage game is this? Plan to die or die. Plan while walking. Arrived near the iron-making workshop. Several blacksmith professionals are making iron. There are hundreds of people doing miscellaneous work and moving things here, most of whom are unprofessional. The foreman saw Chu Ming coming and immediately commanded, saying, "Chu Ming, hurry up and work. If you don't finish moving this pile of iron ore before noon, the mine owner won't care about food. Also, let me remind you again that you need to be present for 30 days a month and cannot be late, in order to receive a 100 yuan attendance bonus." "Got it, one day I'll hang a streetlight from the mine owner." Walking up to a pile of iron ore, Chu Ming was about to start construction. Suddenly, a delightful stream of heat swept throughout the body. Chu Ming's mind explodes with information. Emotionless mechanical sound. Host binding successful, detected as unprofessional. Awakening profession, detected hidden profession. Undead summoner. Confirmed. Activate hidden entry. Talent. Host talent is 1 star. Command. Infinite regeneration until the highest talent. Regenerate 34349900 times, 10 stars. Confirm. Just like a few seconds after 1,000 years. Chu Ming realized what had happened. Subconsciously opening one's own panel. Previously, when Chu Ming opened the data panel, he could only see a bald, unprofessional person. Then there was nothing left. But now it's different. Data panel content display. Name. Chu Ming, occupation. Undead summoner, intern, talent. 10 stars, level. LV1, power. 5, agile. 5, constitution. 5, spirit. 5, main attribute, basic skill. Skeleton summoning LV1. Summons one small skull at the same level as the summoner. But immediately a blur flashed by. The system prompts that the skill has been enhanced with talent. And the skills on the panel have also changed. Skeleton summoning LV1, 10 stars. Summons 10 small skeletons at the same level as the summoner. Chu Ming was stunned. Myself, it seems like I finally have a career. Or hide the profession. Undead summoner. I haven't heard of it. But without realizing it, it's fierce. Generally speaking, hiding professions is very dangerous. Except for dragon knights. Because dragon knights have no dragons to ride, but regardless of whether the summoner of the undead is strong or not. It's always better than being unemployed before. Key to one's own talent, professionals have talent. Although Chu Ming is an unprofessional person, he has never eaten pork and has never seen a pig run. Chu Ming knows that there are differences in the strength of professions in this world. Then each player has different attribute points based on their level, resources, and so on. These are all public information that everyone knows. I've never heard of having talent before. Chu Ming is very certain. At least according to publicly available information, professionals do not have the notion of talent. But I have. It seems like a hidden entry activated by the system just now. Does the term talent hang? First, check the explanation. Talent can bring faster growth speed and enhance skill effects, comprehensively enhancing the strength of talent owners. After looking at his own skills again, he found that after talent enhancement, he could only summon one small skull with the skeleton summoning LV1 technique. Surprisingly, it suddenly became capable of summoning 10 small skeletons. Summon 10 at once. This intensity is not just 10 times that simple. Okay, it seems that talent is indeed impressive. At this moment, the system sound in my mind rings again. Successfully detected host activation of profession. Assign beginner task. Enter the apprentice professional trial instance. Task reward. Obtain new additional skills. Additional new skills. Chu Ming couldn't help but brighten his eyes. This is fun. Skills are a valuable resource. Most professionals have to spend a lot of money on skill books for additional skills, except for a few regular basic skills. A good skill book can easily sell for sky-high prices. If the system can provide additional skills for oneself, that would be a big help. The beginner's task is too strong, and Chu Ming's next goal is very clear. That is to go to the professional association and participate in trials. Formally become a professional. Chu Ming. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and move the goods. The foreman was very dissatisfied with Chu Ming's fishing and urged him. Chu Ming seemed as if he had not heard of it. Chu Ming. If you don't work anymore, I'll hand over your work to someone else. Chu Ming looked at his skill to summon a small skeleton. I can't help but feel my heart beating faster. Foreman, I moved the bricks and sent them to you for contracting. After speaking, Chu Ming slowly left, leaving behind a firm and graceful figure and a stunned foreman. New book upload. Collect and follow up. Your support is very important. End of this chapter. What is the second to last hidden profession in Chapter 2? You are listening at novelfull.audio. What is the second to last hidden profession in Chapter 2? Xianhai City is a large city with a population of 1 million. There are also large professional associations. Professionals register here and pass the trials. You can become a registered member of the professional association. Going to college in the future is very convenient for obtaining tasks, finding teams, finding jobs, and so on. Professionals with excellent trial results are often targeted by headhunters to secure a good job, or obtain opportunities for further education. The key is for combat professionals. You must pass the trial instance in order to truly become a professional and gain the ability to upgrade. Otherwise, I will be a level 1 beginner for my whole life. It's just a trainee professional. Chu Ming returned to the shack first, changed into his only set of white shirts, and shaved off his beard. A handsome face was revealed. With a positive attitude, I walked into the hall of the professional association. You can see various equipment and rewards hanging on the surrounding walls, as well as portraits of many association members and so on. There are many task notices on the bulletin board, and people occasionally take on tasks. Today, a group of graduates from Xianhai College happened to come to try registration. It makes the association appear lively and extraordinary. Chu Ming walked towards the administrator position, preparing to register his information and become an official member of the association. Hello, let me register. The administrator didn't even look up and said, what profession? Which school did you graduate from? Home Squatting Academy, Summoner of the Undead. Undead Summoner. Hidden profession. No school. The administrator raised his head and looked at Chu Ming. Although awakening professions have a high degree of randomness, but in long-term exploration, people have found that those who have undergone systematic training and learning, guidance from renowned teachers, and cultivation with spiritual medicine have a significantly higher success rate in awakening their careers. Especially for awakening combat professions, the probability of even hiding professions is significantly higher than that of ordinary people. If it weren't for systematic learning, awakening an auxiliary profession would be a blessing. The administrator looked at Chu Ming with a detection tool. It shows that Chu Ming is indeed a summoner of the undead. Not bad, people who haven't studied have actually awakened to hidden professions. Although he is a summoner of the undead, at least he is also a combat profession, not bad. The people around them heard that a hidden profession had arrived, and they all looked at Chu Ming one after another. Wow, there really are summoners of the undead. I thought it was written haphazardly in the magazine. Those who haven't gone to vocational schools have awakened their hidden professions. Choose one from 1,000, right? Hiding professions is amazing. Bullshit. Undead summoners are probably better than dragon knights in hidden professions. Summoning the undead. Isn't it just summoning a bunch of stinky corpses? What's fun about it? Yeah, this kind of hidden profession is meaningless. The summoned undead will only cause trouble for others. I've seen a level 25 undead summoner who only knows how to summon a few skeletons, and I thought I was really amazing. This hidden profession must be very garbage, otherwise it wouldn't be hidden. I feel not as powerful as an ordinary summoner. The administrator has completed the registration. Unfortunately, if you awaken to a better hidden profession, it can be seen as a typical positive energy in the newspaper. Make do with it. The trial is scheduled for 2 p.m., please be prepared. Looking at the administrator's regretful expression and the discussions of people around them, Chu Ming felt a chill in his heart. Undead summoner, is it so useless? Do you have any career information for the summoner of the undead? Let me borrow it. Here you are, that's all. The hidden profession is still a undead summoner with little research value, and the information is a bit limited. Let's make do with it. The administrator handed Chu Ming several outdated book pages. It adds up to less than 5 pages. It forms a sharp contrast with the summoner manual on over 100 pages next to it. Looking at Chu Ming's speechless expression, the administrator sighed and patted Chu Ming's shoulder. Your professional team dungeon must be unorganized. After all, there is no output, no control, no mobility, the body is fragile, and babies are also prone to attracting monsters and causing team destruction. But don't lose heart either. In large scale battles, there won't be much more than you. Follow along, it's better than having no profession. It took a few minutes to read through the information of the undead summoner, almost demoting the undead summoner to nothing. It can only be said that it is better than some auxiliary professions, it is basically inferior to any combat profession. I can see dim sum is cool. Chu Ming could only say, the person who compiled this information is a cloud player, making hasty judgments without understanding the undead. This profession is not that easy at all. Is that right? The association's trials are usually held once a month. There are also many other professionals prepared together with Chu Ming. Everyone is making final preparations in the lounge. The lounge is mainly occupied by the new batch of graduates from the top Xianhai College in the city. There are also some other family and guild forces, as well as professionals from second-rate schools. There are very few pure scattered people like Chu Ming. In addition, Chu Ming is a hidden profession, which has attracted a lot of attention. That person's name is Chu Ming, is he really handsome? Handsome. When he summons rotten meat and stinky zombies in the future, he'll ask if you're still handsome. Hidden professions, not even 1 out of 10,000 people is likely to be chosen, and it's a pity that he became a summoner of the undead. It's normal for a scattered person to awaken to the trash profession like this. If you awaken a hidden profession like elemental summoner, it will definitely take off. At least it's a combat profession, and it's already good for a casual person like him. If you reach the 5th level on normal difficulty, you will be considered successful. In a short while, it could be seen that there were already hundreds of people in the lounge. Most people will carry some basic equipment. Poor people buy some cheap basic equipment. Rich people do their best to equip themselves with a complete set of equipment. Only Chu Ming has nothing. Wear ordinary clothes, without weapons or armor, to participate in the trial. This makes Chu Ming seem out of place. Sister Mo, look at that person. He didn't even bring any equipment when participating in the trial. I see, he probably won't last for 10 minutes before he dies. The girl known as Sister Mo is called Su Mo. Su Mo has a delicate and beautiful face, as well as a perfect body curve. She is one of the most popular beauties in the school. More importantly, she comes from one of the 4 major families in Xianhai City and has awakened her hidden profession. The water light passed her, as expected. Perhaps it's because they are both hidden professionals. When Su Mo saw Chu Ming, she glanced at him a few more times. Although Suemo also knew that the undead summoner was likely a garbage class. But she always remembered the family motto. There is no profession without garbage, only professionals with garbage. Perhaps the undead summoner is also very strong. Suemo had this speculation in her heart. So Suemo said to the girl beside him, Yuzi, you can't say that either. After all, they are summoners and mainly watch summoning beast battles. Perhaps this Chu Ming doesn't rely too much on equipment, does he? Yuzi gave a sly smile and said, I guess he definitely doesn't have the money to buy equipment. Summoners have high requirements for spiritual attributes. They don't have weapons, so their grades are likely to be poor. After speaking, Yuzi walked to Chu Ming's side. Hello. My name is Xinyu. I saw you just now. Are you a summoner of the undead? Do you want to join my guild? Although our guild doesn't have many people, it is very loving and has strong combat power. Just missing a hidden profession. If you want to join the guild, I can give you a weapon from the legal system. How's it going? Chu Ming was somewhat surprised. Because my profession as a summoner of the undead is not very garbage, is it? How could the guild still actively invite themselves? Don't be fooled by the name of a guild, but the guilds in this world are not the same as those in traditional online games. Members who join the association will enjoy certain rights. But we also have to fulfill our obligations. Joining a guild is a very formal matter. Guilds easily abandon members. Will be scolded. If members easily change their social status, they can easily be labeled as servants with 3 surnames. Chu Ming does not resist joining at a suitable time. But not now. So Chu Ming shook his head gently and said, sorry, I don't want to join a guild yet. And my profession doesn't seem to be very strong. Unexpectedly, Jinyu's enthusiasm did not diminish. With a smile on her face, she naturally pulled Chu Ming and said, it's okay, we want to add the phrase, hidden professions dominate to the guild's promotional slogan. As for which hidden profession is it? There's no need to say. I originally intended to use myself as an advertisement. Chu Ming couldn't help but smile. It seems that even hidden professions, known as the second to last worst, have special benefits brought by hidden professions. It's okay to scare people. Chu Ming was deeply moved by Jinyu's invitation. Then refuse. Sorry. I'm used to being alone. Jinyu let out a disappointed sigh and said, oh, hey, it's really difficult to recruit people. This makes me look very talented as the vice president. Okay, next time I'll try to negotiate some benefits with the president and come to you again. Soon, the trial began. The crowd on site entered the dungeon portal. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Mythical Skills. Challenge Nightmare Difficulty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Mythical Skills. Challenge Nightmare Difficulty. The trial dungeon of the Professional Association is a specially designed virtual space. Compared to those instances where team destruction can lead to madness or even death, the security is much higher. After Chu Ming enters the dungeon, I found myself entering a pure black space. There are 4 portals in the pure black space. The teleportation gate reads, Dungeon. Tower of Trial, please choose the difficulty within 60 seconds. Each portal is marked with difficulty. Ordinary, difficult, extremely difficult, nightmare. The experimenter will evaluate the participants based on their level, difficulty, results, and other factors to obtain a final score. Don't worry, there are 4 levels of difficulty. But in reality, almost everyone will only choose ordinary or difficult. Occasionally having a candidate is extremely difficult. Nightmares sometimes leave no candidates for several months. Nightmare difficulty score is high. But I can't beat it at all. Can't you beat me? What's the point? Only those super rookie professionals with good professions and equipment occasionally have someone challenge nightmare difficulty. But they didn't expect to clear all 9 levels either. For those who challenge nightmare difficulty, reaching the 4th level is considered successful. Chu Ming is considering the difficulty. At this point, the system also prompts. Newcomer tasks completed, reward the host with additional new skills. Random congratulations to the host for obtaining the mythological skill. Grievant spirit flowing mythical level. Surprisingly a mythological skill. The quality levels of additional skills in this world are divided into 6 levels. Ordinary, excellent, rare, hero, legend, and myth. Most people have an excellent skill, which is the trump card for settling down and establishing one's life. Mythical level skills are almost only seen in books. But now I actually drew it myself. View skill description. Roaming spirit, mythical level. Summons countless vengeful spirits to move forward like a sea, sweeping through all living creatures along the way. And the skill is blurred for a while. Changes have occurred again. Roaming spirit, mythical level, 10 stars. Summons countless vengeful spirits to move forward like a sea, sweeping through all creatures along the way, and then the vengeful spirits will sweep through again. Sleeping slot, is this a large-scale AoE skill? AoE skills are very popular and rare. AoE at the Forbidden Curse level, one skill can determine the battlefield. Many full-time mages spend their entire lives wandering around. I can't get a big AoE skill either. And now Chu Ming previewed the effect range of casting skills. Discovering what is well deserved is like a current in the ocean. The range width exceeds 100 meters. Such a super large-scale AoE skill may not be mastered by anyone in the entire Xianhai city. As for power, Chu Ming is not worried. Because generally speaking, the power of a skill is linked to its spirit, and as long as one's attributes are improved, the power will naturally not be small. While Chu Ming previews his skills, the system's tasks have also been updated. New task release. When the host reaches the 9th level of the trial tower, they will receive a system reward of 1 point each for strength, agility, physique, and spirit. If you choose the nightmare difficulty trial, you will receive an additional 10 points of spirit. See the reward for this task. Chu Ming couldn't help but take a cold breath at the risk of global warming. Simply complete the basic trials and reach the 9th level. You can obtain 4 attributes. The trial of ordinary difficulty is very simple, and most professionals can complete it. Equivalent to these 4 attributes, basically free. Nightmare difficulty can also give an additional 10 points of mental power. The inside and outside add up to 14 points. You should know that by upgrading one level normally, you can also obtain 1 main attribute point, plus 1 free attribute point. 14-point task reward, equivalent to the income of a normal professional at level 7. This is simply going against the sky, okay? Although attribute points are not the only factor determining combat effectiveness. But it is the foundation of all professionals. Whether it's health or defense. Whether it's attack speed or evasion. Whether it's blocking or spell damage. Almost everything related to combat power is intricately linked to attributes. At this moment, Chu Ming had no reason to hesitate. Select Nightmare difficulty. Chu Ming stepped into the portal marked with Nightmare difficulty, and his figure disappeared into it. The VIP hall on the 2nd floor of the association. Look, the magic for the Nightmare difficulty prompt is on. It seems that Zheng Mu has already entered. Principal Zheng, should we turn on the tracking camera? The man named Zheng He, also known as Principal Zheng, is the vice president of Xianhai College. His son awakened the hidden profession of the Flame Demon Warrior, who is both a regular warrior and able to exert the power of the Flame Demon on himself. It is a very powerful hidden profession. In addition, Zheng He has always been carefully trained and equipped with luxurious equipment. So Zhengmu is undoubtedly the most optimistic among the graduates in this batch. Previously, everyone speculated that Zhengmu would challenge the nightmare difficulty. And as the light comes on, indicates that someone has entered nightmare difficulty. People around also praised Principal Zheng and celebrated his son's successful trial in advance. The nightmare difficulty trial is not easy, Zhengmu's strength is really strong. Of course, after all, he is the son of Principal Zheng and has exceptional talent. When testing on campus, Zhengmu was very outstanding. He is now fully equipped and probably has no problem passing the first 3 floors. Not only that, Principal Zheng's son could have killed to the 5th floor. Lucky enough to reach the 7th level. I have to admire Principal Zheng's educational level. Principal Zheng smiled slightly and said, "Let's take a look at the dog's performance." Principal Zheng has sufficient confidence in his son's strength. His son's talent, practical training, and equipment configuration are basically at the level of once in 10 years throughout the entire Xianhai city. The future is promising. The tracking camera spell was activated, and the camera in the VIP hall switched to Zhengmu. And no one noticed that Chu Ming also entered the nightmare difficulty dungeon. Entering the 1st floor, there is a spacious hall in front of you. In the distance, many grassland wolves can be seen wandering, and their eyes exude a fierce aura. The grassland wolf is a creature with high attack and low health. It is relatively easy to deal with a single person. But if there is too much attraction, it will be very easy for high-output grassland wolves to instantly kill if they continue to explode. Simultaneously, the countdown to the replica starts. Try to kill monsters within 30 minutes. The more kills, the higher the score. If the final settlement score of this level exceeds 60 points, you can proceed to the next level. But we must not attract too many monsters at once just for the sake of greed. Otherwise, the output ability of the grassland wolf, combined with a high critical hit rate, will teach the tester to be a good person. Chu Ming noticed that due to the difficulty level of his chosen nightmare, causing the grassland wolves, which should have acted alone, to become relatively concentrated. Various groups of grassland wolves in groups of 3 or 5. Hate often intertwines between different wolf packs. A slight mistake may cause a chain reaction. What's even more terrifying is that the grassland wolf in nightmare difficulty is an elite monster. The monster attributes of the trial book are viewable. Elite grassland wolf, level. LV4, power. 2. Medium level, introduction. Wolf claws contain powerful power and can often cause unexpected damage. A powerful 2. Elite monster with combat power, level suppression, team action, and easy linkage of hatred. It can only be said that the difficulty of nightmares is worthy of the title of nightmare difficulty. Practitioners must be very careful in luring monsters and analyzing their overall action paths in order to gradually devour the wolf pack. Before analyzing the route of attracting monsters, Chu Ming first recruited the little skeletons. Use skeleton summoning. A gust of wind blew by. A dark black formation appeared on the ground. The light effect position of the skill on the ground revealed a small skull. The little skeleton is only 1 meter tall, short and thin, bare-handed. It trembled and stood up, making a creaking sound as if it was about to fall apart at any moment. Seeing the impoverished appearance of this little skeleton, Chu Ming couldn't help but frown. Looking so casual, it feels like there might be some flaws in the attributes, right? End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Little Skull Squadron. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Little Skull Squadron. Next, a small skeleton crawled out of the formation. Another one. Another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 whole little skeletons. These little skeletons are those who hold long swords, spears, and bows and arrows. There's even one holding a staff. It's like a skeleton combat team. Looking at the attributes again. Take a look at the attributes. Chu Ming exclaimed in surprise. Is this a little skull? Isn't this Nima a skeleton father? The specific attributes of the little skeletons are: Little Skull, Chu Ming, level. LV1, power. 3-star beginner level, skill. Skeleton team. When more than 10 small skeletons are fighting at the same time, physical defense plus 2%, attack speed plus 2%, movement speed plus 2%, and attack speed plus 2%. Description: a weak little skeleton, but willing to die again for its owner. As the lowest level 1 summoning beast, it surprisingly received a 3-star combat rating. You should know that as an elite monster, the grassland wolf only has a 2-star mid-level combat power evaluation. The key is such a powerful little skeleton, it has recruited 10 at once. This is just a level 1 skull summoning spell. I don't know how explosive the combat power will be when I level up later. Besides, they also have additional versatile passive skills, making them even more powerful in practical combat. Hey, I wanted to make a living on my own, but now it seems like I have to be a skeleton-gnawing tribe. Everything is ready, watching 2 grassland wolves grazing not far away. Chu Ming licked his lips. Killing time is up, little skeleton, let's go. The little skeletons obeyed and rushed forward to engage in a siege. Bang, click, ow, within a few seconds, 10 small skeletons of the 3-star beginner level annihilated the 2 wolves in front of them. The wolf next to him was startled. More than 10 small skeletons came one after another, all of which were crushed by their attributes and killed indiscriminately. Chu Ming looked at it. What are you afraid of? Directly order to attract more monsters. Introduce dozens of wolves at once, then chop melons and vegetables. A small skeleton hung up midway, so Chu Ming immediately summoned again. 20 minutes have passed. 100 wolves on the entire first floor. It's gone. The dungeon design is to kill as many as possible within 30 minutes. As a result, Chu Ming killed him directly. It's awkward now. Because the next level will only open after 30 minutes. Chu Ming had nothing to do, so he sat down on the spot to rest. In the association hall outside the venue, the magic light curtain randomly plays the tracking footage of various testers. Most of the audience wants to see a highly anticipated athlete like Xingmu. Some people also want the camera to track the goddess Su Mo in a fixed position. However, the light curtain in the hall is random. Only those in the VIP hall can choose freely. A person dressed up as a student, who will graduate next month, came here today specifically to take a look at the trial and step on the steps. After drinking a glass of juice, he looked up. Ha! Why is anyone sleeping? Wasn't it done? Cow B, I dare to ruin such an important test book. What does a real, lying flat old man mean? A few people nearby also looked over, and at the same time, the tracking camera was zoomed in a bit, showing that there was nothing strange in the entire venue. The person in the camera is exactly Chu Ming. All the monsters on this level have been killed by Chu Ming. And the monster corpse in the trial tower will automatically disappear. So the field around Chu Ming in the camera is very clean. No monsters, no corpses. Even the newly formed little skeletons have been cancelled from summoning. In such a large venue, there is only one Chu Ming lying down to rest. Why isn't it strange? Did he finish killing the monster? It's not very likely. Even for ordinary difficulty monsters' weaknesses, there are still 100 monsters. This is only 20 minutes, 5 wolves in 1 minute. Isn't this person the summoner of the undead just now? Is his hidden profession actually very strong, clearing the monsters? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Is there a bug on Chu Ming's end? Everyone was discussing Chu Ming, who was in a resting state. But soon the camera cut away. The discussion has been temporarily suspended. 30 minutes is up. All testers will be returned to the standby space, and the second level will start in 5 minutes. The instant scores will also be released immediately. In the VIP small hall, Zheng Mu, who was closely watched, killed 7 elite grassland wolves in the first level. A fairly good result. Principal Zheng was also very pleased to see his son's performance in the trial. The 7 monsters on Nightmare difficulty have higher scores than the 70 monsters on normal difficulty. The people around are also praising one after another. Zheng Mu's performance is too good. This grade is very good. Being able to kill 7 elite grassland wolves in the Nightmare difficulty trial tower is a remarkable achievement. The beginning of everything is difficult. The first layer has laid a solid foundation, and the second layer below is also laid casually. The score for the first round is out, and it is estimated that Zheng Mu's score will be at least twice that of the second place. Principal Zheng, with a smile on his face, checked the real-time score list with everyone. Take a look. Everyone looked at each other, collective dumbfounded. Zheng Mu's score is 135 points. Get rid of the tester below him for over 30 points. But above Zheng Mu, surprisingly, there is one more person. Chu Ming, summoner of the Undead, 400 points. Is the score so high? Nightmare difficulty. Something's wrong. The maximum score for Nightmare difficulty is 400. 400 doesn't seem to be less than 3 times the 135 points, but the marginal utility decreases. If the score is higher, you need to kill a lot more monsters. The monster that Chu Ming killed may be more than 3 or 5 times that of 7 wolves, but 10 times or even more. Full score. It's impossible. Is this score true? 400 points. I'm afraid there's a problem with the trial tower, right? Impossible. The rules and mechanisms of the Tower of Trial have been rigorously reviewed and tested, and there can be no problems. Yes, yesterday officials from the Dragon City came specifically to inspect and confirm that everything in the trial tower was normal. Did he use cheats or cheat? Perhaps he really has such strong strength. After all, this person is a hidden profession. Perhaps we all underestimated the true strength of the Undead summoner. Even if the summoner of the Undead is strong, it cannot be so powerful. Principal Zheng's face turned pale with iron. According to his plan, after his son finishes first in this batch of trials, he will be able to directly attend the genius class at Longdu University. But I didn't expect Cheng Yaojin to be killed halfway. I got full marks directly in the first level trial. This will seriously threaten my son's ranking. But in public, Principal Zheng was also unable to get angry and could only pretend to be calm and say, "Generations of heroes. Not bad. But everyone knows the strength of the Undead summoner. We cannot directly draw a conclusion yet. Of course, I also hope that our Xianhai city can produce more powerful professionals. But the premise is fairness and justice. This Chu Ming, we need to focus on observing." Principal Zheng doesn't believe in himself that just a summoner of the Undead has the ability to pass the Nightmare difficulty trial tower with full marks. There must be some kind of opportunistic approach. Maybe it's not a cheat. But perhaps there is a bug stuck. After all, for decades, the Tower of Trials has also been constantly updated and improved. It is not impossible for a bug to be discovered and exploited again. The person in the VIP hall, the camera is locked on Chu Ming. And the audience in the hall, they have completely exploded. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Full Score Prestige. Are you here to fry fish? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Full Score Prestige. Are you here to fry fish? What? 400 points. Is this the heavenly god descending to earth? So the maximum score for Nightmare difficulty level 1 is 400 points. Who is Chu Ming? Is he the son of some top tycoon? I've never seen such a high score before. How did he actually achieve it? I haven't seen it before. You have seen it now. Who said the undead summoner dish just now? Speak up. Speak up. Is Chu Ming the summoner of the undead? How did I hear that this profession is very rubbish? It must be a bug, referee. Someone cheated. If a bug is not fixed, it's hard to tolerate it. Where's the camera? What are you waiting for? Lock me in on Chu Ming. That's right. The camera is locked. Let's see how this hang B is actually operated. Generally speaking, the shots in the lobby are random. But under the strong demands of the whole audience, the camera in the lobby also began to lock in, broadcasting Chu Ming, who had just started the second-level battle. 9-story trial tower. Each layer will have various types of monsters, which also tests the tester's overall ability. It is worth mentioning that for each batch of trials, the monster situation on each level of the trial tower is different. The experimenter can only know approximately how many types of monsters there are. And I don't know which specific layer will appear what. This makes it more difficult for the experimenter to target. The second-level monster is a rock giant, and the first-level grassland wolf are completely different monsters with different characteristics. The rock giant is a tall and sturdy rock monster, standing about 3 meters tall. Its body is covered with hard rocks, with many sharp spines on its back, thick and powerful limbs, and rough skin and thick flesh. The rock giant on the second layer this time is definitely a very difficult monster to deal with. The general strength has reached a 2-star high level. The distribution of rock giants was originally relatively scattered, allowing testers to take on individual challenges. But on Chu Ming's side, it's a nightmare difficulty, resulting in rock giants being paired in pairs. The difficulty has increased several times invisibly. After seeing the monster on the second floor, the audience outside also exclaimed in surprise. The program's effect is exploding. The Stone Dad is actually on the second floor. Stone Man, rough skin and thick flesh, attack high. I reckon this group of brothers will be difficult. I don't care about others, I just care about what Chu Ming's beat is all about. The undead summoner must be cold, right? A level 1 undead summoner can only summon a small skeleton. Why fight Stone Man? That's right, summoning a low-level beast is just one turn in front of the Stone Man. Look. Chu Ming is up. Chu Ming in the camera used the skeleton summoning technique. This is quite expected. But the key is quantity. Ha! Another little skull. Also. 5 of them. 10 skeletons. Did he recruit 10 skeletons at once? I'll go. What skill is this? This is the Skull C. No wonder he's so strong. That's not right. I used to have a classmate who was also a summoner of the undead, so he could only summon one little skeleton. That's why your classmates are trash, and Chu Ming is a perfect war god. 666, who knows this Chu Ming? I need to interview him later. Chu Ming in the camera commands the Skull Squad to gradually approach the 2 rock giants in front. The rock giant roared and its wild combat posture filled the air. Compared to the 10 small skeletons that Chu Ming recruited well, it's just a bunch of broken bones. Success is considered as not being blown over by the roar of the Stone Man. This little skeleton looks at the barbarians. The Stone Man's defense is extremely high, with a splash attack and blood to conquer the Skull C. I guess Chu Ming won't be able to beat it. Well, there's no way. The elite rock giants is a 2-star high level monster. Low-level summoning beasts like Little Skull have 1-star initial combat power, and even if 10 of them go up together, they are destined to be knocked down twice. As I said, the summoner of the undead is useless. A person said this. But he didn't finish speaking. Because the little skeletons of Chu Ming in the camera rushed forward for a round of siege, chopping the two rock giants to pieces. It's so easy that it doesn't seem like chopping stones. And like chopping tofu. The patrolling rock giant next to him saw the battle and charged towards him with a roar. A stone man punched heavily and was easily bounced away by a small skeleton with a knife. Block. Then another little skeleton swooshed an arrow. The last long sword skeleton effortlessly cuts open the body of the rock giant. Kill another one in less than 5 seconds. On the other side, a small skeleton holding an axe was even more fierce. Kill a rock giant with a 3-pronged axe that covers your head and face. All the people outside the venue are dumbfounded. I'll go. Kill alone. Little Skull kills Stone Man alone. That's a little skeleton. Isn't that a skeleton father? No, most undead creatures have no brains. How could Chu Ming's little skeleton play so skillfully? Who said earlier that the stone man stomped on 10 small skeletons with 1 foot? Speak up. Blackie speaks up. I checked and found out that the elite stone man has a 2-star high level strength. How do you feel like he's still being suppressed by the little skull? No wonder the first layer can be cleared. It turns out that the skeleton fathers are so fierce. Che, he's just a guy who relies on his dog power. He has the ability to hammer himself. After more than 10 minutes, Chu Ming cleared the second floor and began to sit on the ground to rest. Principal Zheng in the VIP hall had already started to sweat from his forehead. He saw his son Zheng Mu working hard to kill the second rock giant. Zheng Mu is a noble and powerful hidden professional flame demon warrior, with weapons that come with burn effects and are very powerful. But dealing with rock giants is also very difficult, and they are panting and dangerous. And Chu Ming, who is clearly a garbage hiding profession. But it has already cleared the entire venue and started resting. The score difference will only widen. The only talent class spot in Xianhai City, this is the rhythm of being snatched away. The people around the VIP hall, seeing Zheng He's ugly facial expression, were also hesitant to say anything more. The second level trial is over. Someone started to die in battle and was rumored to have a dungeon. But most people have successfully scored over 60 points in the second layer and can continue the challenge in the third layer. And Chu Ming once again won full marks. The first place is Chu Ming, with a total score of 800 points. The second place is Zheng Mu, with 216 points. The third place is Su Mo, with 173 points. Is Chu Ming still human? Why is his little skeleton so strong? Hee, don't you understand? Chu Ming is a young master from a top aristocratic family who came to fry fish. He is an uneducated person, awakening his hidden profession. Even though he is a very useless little skeleton, he is so fierce. Do you think Chu Ming is from the Xianhai City region? I'm sure it's definitely a top student from another place who came specifically to grab a spot in the local genius class. Grass up. Isn't this stealing our educational resources? Hee, there's only one quota for each batch of the genius class. Originally, 80% of today's quota was for Zheng Mu. But now it's being snatched by outsiders. Are you angry? Haha. Laugh a hammer, there are only so many educational resources in Xianhai City. If there are foreign students taking exams, then it will be our turn to have fewer resources. Yes. The cross-district trial was already against the rules. Protest. Many people present began to savor it. Originally, Chu Ming was a top student from another city, and because he may not be able to compete on his own side, he specifically came to Xianhai City across different regions to fry fish. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Clearing the site. The spirit of resentment flows forth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Clearing the site. The spirit of resentment flows forth. Strictly investigate. Strictly investigate. Many jealous and skeptical people began to make such voices about Chu Ming. What is the review of the association doing? Is it eating xiang? It's natural that Chu Ming's grades won't be cancelled. However, the association cannot acknowledge its own review errors. Nature also ignored the sound at the scene. Principal Zheng from the VIP hall also noticed this scene. With a sudden inspiration in his heart, Principal Zheng called in his trusted student. The two had a private conversation. Huiyuejun, how do I usually treat you? The student known as Huiyuejun flattered and said, normally, students rely on Principal Zheng for cultivation. Thanks to your guidance, Principal Zheng, I successfully transferred to a combat profession this time. Well, it also depends on your own efforts. Now I have something to ask for your help. What's going on? Is it about that undead summoner? Principal Zheng nodded. This Chu Ming must be a runaway candidate from another city. You will report him later and use the challenge right to request the association to use Eagle Eye permission to search. Find out the details of Chu Ming. Drive him out of the trial. Huiyuejun's face turned pale as he said, using the right to challenge. This. What's going on? Worried that using the challenge power won't detect the problem, which will cause you to lose your trial qualification. Don't worry, there must be a problem with Chu Ming. I have a 90% confidence. Even if there is really no evidence of cheating, I can contact acquaintances and arrange for an association in another city for you. Huiyuejun actually suspected that Chu Ming was taking an exam. But using the right to challenge is equivalent to questioning the authority of the association, so the cost of the challenge is the possibility of losing the qualification to try in the local association. It's not a waste of an opportunity, but losing qualification. So generally speaking, unless one is particularly confident, no one will use the right to challenge. But now, Principal Zheng, who has been cultivating Huiyuejun, has made a request. Huiyuejun hesitated for a moment before nodding. I understand Principal Zheng, I will apply now. While Principal Zheng arranges manpower. The third layer of trial has also begun. Entering the third level, Chu Ming discovered that the monster on this level was slime. A large amount of slime. This monster itself has weak combat power. But with a large quantity, in order to achieve high scores, one must have the ability to quickly clear monsters. Under the difficulty of nightmares, slime is even more disgusting. Elite Slime, Level. Level 3, Power. 2. Beginner Level, Introduction. An evil creature that is good at using mucus to slow down opponents. Elite Level Slime crazily slows down the little skeletons from the beginning. Although there is a lower limit to deceleration, it should not make the little skeleton unable to move. But it still has a significant impact on the efficiency of clearing monsters. There are a huge number of slime monsters on the field. The efficiency of clearing monsters has relatively decreased. People outside the venue saw that Chu Mingzhao's little skeleton was covered in mucus, no longer like the way he used to chop melons and vegetables. Oh no, the skull is still being killed by slime blood. Why is slime in nightmare difficulty so fierce? The deceleration effect is so strong. Nonsense, nightmare difficulty is Elite Slim, a 2. Beginner monster. Hehe, a summoner of the undead doesn't have a beat number in his heart. He challenged the nightmare difficulty and ended up feeling exhausted. Not bad either, Chu Ming got full marks for the first 2 layers. The elite slime on the 3rd level has indeed slowed down too much, and it's normal not to be able to move. Chu Ming saw his little skeletons falling into infinite deceleration. The monster killing efficiency has decreased by at least 70%. TSK, the difficulty of this nightmare is really disgusting. Chu Ming estimated that he could only chop off at most half of the monsters on his own level. In sharp contrast to the previous 2 layers, which were fully cleared in advance. But Chu Ming also saw it. Although the elite slimes decelerate extremely disgustingly, their output is relatively average. The little skeleton I recruited doesn't lose much health. So Chu Ming ordered. Whole army assault. The little skeletons received orders and began to forcefully thrust forward against the deceleration. 10 pieces. 30 pieces. 50 pieces. 100 pieces. 200 quickly, 10 small skeletons attracted over 200 slimes. Don't be fooled by the low level creature slime. But they are elite monsters. The output is very high for ordinary people. It was only Chu Ming's skeleton team with exceptional strength that they withstood the attacks of a large number of monsters. But it's only in a short period of time. It can be seen that under the gathering of hundreds of elite slimes, the little skeletons finally couldn't bear it and began to fall one after another. But even if they fall, they still attract monsters. The more you attract, the more you attract. The massive slime cluster is very spectacular. The audience outside the venue locked their eyes on Chu Ming's camera. Seeing Chu Ming's crazy monster pulling, everyone was puzzled. What is this doing? Chu Ming is crazy. Hee, drifting. Chu Ming thought he was invincible, so he went crazy to attract monsters. The scene is out of control. Are these 200 monsters? His skull can't withstand it anymore. Unfortunately, Chu Ming's steady play on the third layer is sure to pass, but now too many monsters have been eliminated. This person can't inflate. Look, Chu Ming's expansion has attracted a large group of monsters. Principal Zheng saw Chu Ming's crazy behavior of pulling monsters. I couldn't help but smile with relief. It seems that this person is also at this level. 4. I saw only the last 2 or 3 skeletons left. Principal Zheng smiled contentedly and said, in no more than 10 seconds, hundreds of wild monsters will tear Chu Ming into pieces. Even if summoned again later, when new skeletons appear and hatred is established, it may not be enough time to protect the Lord. Countdown. The whole association hall is paying attention to Chu Ming. Discussing how Chu Ming could hold on for a few seconds under the impact of the slim army. But suddenly, the discussion crowd fell silent collectively. Because they saw Chu Ming in the picture and reached out to hundreds of elite slimes ahead. The spirit of resentment flows on. Chu Ming used his extensive AoE skills. The surrounding air began to become eerie and terrifying, as if countless ghosts were wandering around. A cold wind blew by, and the surrounding air instantly became cold. A huge black magic circle appeared at Chu Ming's feet, and countless ghost figures surged out of the magic circle, rushing towards the elite slime like raging waves. They are a sleeping army of vengeful spirits. Each vengeful spirit emitted a ferocious aura, emitting sharp screams that made people shudder. Elite slimes began to panic, trying to evade the attacks of the ghosts. But it was completely unstoppable, countless ghosts tore them apart like waves. One move. Clear the scene. Even the second sweep effect after talent enhancement has not been utilized yet. In just a few seconds, there are at least hundreds of slimes within the entire 3-layer range. All cleared. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Continuous full score, Black Silk Talks. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 7 Continuous Full Score, Black Silk Talks. I didn't read it wrong, did I? When I slowly type the question mark, it doesn't mean you have a problem, but it means I'm starting to suspect that there's something wrong with my eyes. Can this monster still be human, even after clearing hundreds of slimes in one move and being all elites in nightmare difficulty? Wife, come out and see God. Oh my, isn't this Aragon from the Lord of the Rings? Chu Ming also led an army of undead spirits to sweep through slime. Chu Ming, who comes from outside to take exams, is his strength so strong? Is the education level in our Xianhai city too far behind that of the outside world? It's a real blow. This Chu Ming is definitely from the dragon capital who came to fry fish. Principal Zheng was also stunned by Chu Ming's performance. As the vice principal of a vocational school, he also has some exposure to many obscure professions. According to what he has mastered, the main combat power of the undead summoner is to summon various undead creatures as summoning beasts. The summoning beasts of the Undead series have no significant difference in their panel strength compared to ordinary ones. But due to the natural flaws of the Undead system, there are restraint relationships. This makes it very difficult to use in practical combat. If Chu Ming acquired an advanced skill by chance and summoned a powerful summoning beast, Principal Zheng can still understand. The key is, what skill did Chu Ming use? Large range full image AoE. This is a super top level destructive spell. Principal Zheng can also take every move at a time. But his moves are every second, just like Chu Ming's just now. It's completely two concepts. If this continues, there will be only one spot in Xianhai City to attend the genius class at Longdu University. It's definitely going to be taken away. This matter must not happen. Principal Zheng directly urged his subordinate Hui Yuejun to take action. Hui Yuejun received orders and went to the hall first. He saw many people speculating about Chu Ming's identity. The most popular saying is that Chu Ming was a candidate from the Dragon Capital. Specially came to compete for educational resources in Xianhai City. Hui Yuejun climbed up to the bar and stood up, shouting angrily. No way. We cannot tolerate such behavior. Our trial students in Xianhai City are too difficult. If any dragon comes and can grab our talent class spot, then there will be more people coming later. Strongly demand a thorough investigation of Chu Ming's background. Many people already had similar ideas, and under the leadership of Hui Yuejun, the atmosphere was even more heated. Although there is a possibility, I remember the investigation of cheating behavior was quite strict. Do you have any evidence? Another candidate asked incredulously. Do you need evidence? Judging from his battles, he is simply too strong. His strength is completely beyond the scope of ordinary candidates. Just a garbage summoner, how can one move clear the entire scene? What should we do? We can't let him steal our spots. Yes. We request a thorough investigation of his identity to see if he is truly a candidate from Dragon City. More people joined in the condemnation. Hui Yuejun saw that the time was ripe and said to the staff of the association. Me, Hui Yuejun. Next month's trial student from Xianhai College. I raise questions about the real name system here. Apply for the Eagle Eye Challenge. Once this statement is made, all four were startled. Because although everyone was shouting happily just now, they all just joined in the fun and lived together. I really used the challenge right to request the association to use the Dragon City Eagle Eye for re-examination. This has consumed the valuable resources of the association. It is also detrimental to the authority of professional associations. So challenges are possible. The cost is not small. If the challenge is successful, Chu Ming is indeed a test taker. That's not bad. But if the association's resources are mobilized and after the Eagle Eye Challenge, no substantial evidence is found. I'm sorry about that. Challengers don't want to participate in trials at local associations anymore. For combat professionals, being unable to participate in the trial is like being a trainee forever. The cost is very huge. So everyone just followed and started cheering. No one dares to gamble on Chu Ming's future as a fake candidate. The association was also surprised by someone proposing the Eagle Eye Challenge. But according to the rules, they can only accept it. I saw the staff of the association take out the testing equipment, insert the card of the Dragon City Inspector, and start the Eagle Eye scan. A few seconds later, the scanning results are available. The uniformed staff announced. Chu Ming's identity information is very limited. The information in Xianhai City is almost blank. It only shows that he is a refugee who entered Xianhai City a few months ago. Huiyuejun said, no information. If there is no information, that's right. It must be a candidate from outside who entered Xianhai City a few months in advance to seize our resources. Huiyuejun was eager to try and felt like he had successfully challenged himself. But then the staff's words poured cold water on him. Although Chu Ming doesn't have much information in Xianhai City. But after nationwide comparison, it can be confirmed that at least within the scope of the Dragon Kingdom, Chu Ming does not belong to any school and has not had any information in any association. He is just a scattered person. The staff announced expressionlessly, Huiyuejun. Eagle Eye challenge failed. What? A scattered person. Impossible. Huiyuejun felt a wave of despair as he was struck by lightning. He lost his qualification for the trial and his future was in darkness. Despite receiving a promise from Principal Zheng that they would cover him up. But seeing that he had lost his qualification, Huiyuejun still felt extremely unwilling in his heart. But he can't change anything either. Huiyuejun was invited out of the association. And among the crowd gathered within the association, the wind direction has also changed. What about the person who cheated just now? Speak up. Black Silk speaks up. My dad once said that professionals who awaken as scattered individuals are either garbage or not garbage. Chu Ming is obviously not garbage. Isn't this undead summoner very garbage? Why is he so fierce? Is there a possibility that the summoner of the undead is trash, but Chu Ming is personally super strong? There is no further suspense. Chu Ming has won full marks consecutively. At the 9th floor, Chu Ming scored full marks on all the first 8 floors. 3,200 points. Even higher than the sum of the 2nd to 10th places. Another challenge to the nightmare difficulty level, Jingmu, was cleared out as early as the 4th level. Even challenging and extremely difficult testers have been basically knocked out of the Tower of Trials. Throughout the entire trial life. Except for a small number of people who choose normal difficulty. Only Chu Ming, who challenges the difficulty of nightmares, remains, and chose the extremely difficult Su Mo. Originally, players like Su Mo who hit the extremely difficult 9th layer would definitely be the focus of the entire game. Unfortunately, now everyone's focus is naturally on Chu Ming. Even Su Mo's friend Jinyu is constantly cheering for Chu Ming. Oh my goodness. I just said my vision is unique. Everyone thought that the undead summoner was a trash profession, so only this girl specifically invited her to join the guild. Unfortunately, I wasn't invited. And while the whole audience is paying attention. In a private villa 10 kilometers away. 2 extraordinary elderly men are also paying attention to the battle situation of Chu Ming. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Attribute Frenzy, Challenge the 9th Layer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Attribute Frenzy, Challenge the 9th Layer. Generally speaking, the tracking footage of trials is only played within the association. Because in this world invaded by divine civilization and severely damaged by technological development, there is no internet. The cost of long-distance playback is too high. Without the internet, you can see real-time footage from a villa several tens of kilometers away. It requires significant resource consumption. This also indicates the extraordinary status of these 2 individuals. A person with a plump physique smiled and said, I didn't expect the members of our inspection team to come to Xianhai City to watch the trial. Surprisingly, one could see someone who had reached the 9th level of nightmare difficulty. Zhao Lao, I have to say that future generations are terrifying. The person named Zhao Lao is Zhao Tianxiong, who is the leader of the inspection team from Longdu. He is also a senior professor at a university in Longdu. Zhao Tianxiong stroked his beard and nodded with a smile, you can see the hidden profession undead summoner. I also saw him reach the 9th level of Nightmare difficulty, which can be considered a worthwhile trip. This achievement, even in the Dragon Capital, which gathers the world's heroes, can still compete in the top 10. This child from Xianhai City is good. Tang Lao, do you think it's possible for him to pass the 9th level? The wealthy Mr. Tang chuckled. Being able to reach the 9th level of Nightmare is already a very good achievement. The difficulty of the 9th level of the Nightmare is extraordinary. The monsters on the first 8 levels actually have overall strength around the 2-star mid-level, but their respective characteristics are different. But this 9th level monster is actually a 3-star monster. The strength is far beyond the comparison of the monsters in the first 8 levels. Although I also quite like this little guy, his undead skills have impressed me. But after all, even Dragon City has not been able to pass the 9th level of Nightmare for 5 years. Although Chu Ming has exceptional talent, he still falls short. Zhao Tianxiong closed his eyes and thought back, nodding slightly. Well, looking back at the footage of Chu Ming's battle just now, it really lacked a bit of flavor. Perhaps this is the limitation of the undead summoner. Unfortunately, someone who could have witnessed a nightmare on the 9th level with their own eyes would have been able to give the elders a blow when they returned. Amidst the attention from both inside and outside the entire association, Chu Ming stepped into the 9th level. Can it pass through the 9th floor? Chu Ming himself has no bottom in his heart. Because I have heard before that the 9th level difficulty of the trial tower is super doubled. Even on the 9th level of ordinary difficulty, some people may overturn. Not to mention the 9th level of nightmare difficulty. What will a monster that is already strong look like after super doubling? However, Chu Ming also knew that he had perfectly passed the 8th floor and his total score would not be inferior. So now Chu Ming's mentality is still relatively peaceful. Just do your best. At the same time, the system prompts. The host has arrived at the 9th level of the trial tower and the task is completed, confirm selecting nightmare rewards. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 1 point for strength, 1 point for agility, 1 point for physique, and 1 point for spirit. Congratulations to the host for obtaining an additional 10 points of spirit. With a total of 14 points of attributes, Chu Ming inexplicably gained an additional 14 points of total attributes compared to other trainees. More importantly, Chu Ming saw that his skills had also changed. Firstly, it indicates that you have obtained 10 points of spiritual power as a built-in basic skill. Spirit Shield LV1. Increases comprehensive defense by 10% for 60 seconds and absorbs up to 100 damage. This type of attribute-based skill will be obtained after any profession with a main attribute of spirit meets the standard. Generally speaking, professions with spiritual attributes are relatively fragile. This is also a basic life-saving skill. Ordinary and unremarkable. But after a blur, Chu Ming's skills have become Spirit Shield LV1, 10 stars. Increases comprehensive defense by 10% for 60 seconds and absorbs up to 1000 damage. Directly stronger by 10 times. Even stronger than 10 times. Not to mention the effect of enhancing comprehensive defense. Absorbing 1000 damage points within 60 seconds is already a super abnormal effect. To put it simply, at this stage of single-digit level. Typically, a player's skill only inflicts a few tens of damage points. Chu Ming's hand absorbs 1000 damage points and is almost invincible for over 10 seconds in low-level battles. If the other party scratches a bit, it is possible to kill for 30 seconds without losing health. Chu Ming was quite pleased to have obtained the basic skill of this spiritual attribute. To be honest, as a summoner, I don't really need to personally charge into battle. Ensure one's own meat content and ensure one's survival. This is what maximizes the summoner's strengths. With a mental mask, my safety has finally become good. Chu Ming also eagerly checked his attributes. Name: Chu Ming, occupation: Undead summoner, intern, talent. 10 stars, level. LV1, power. 6, agile. 6, constitution. 6, spirit. 16, main attribute, basic skill. Skeleton summoning LV1, 10 stars. Summons 10 small skeletons at the same level as the summoner. Spirit shield LV1, 10 stars. Increases comprehensive defense by 10% for 60 seconds and absorbs up to 1000 damage, extra skill. Grudge spirit flowing, mythological level, 10 stars. Summons countless grudges to move forward like a sea, sweeping through all creatures along the way, and then the grudges will sweep through again. Generally speaking, level 1 apprentices have a bucket waste attribute of 5555. But Chu Ming's total attribute has now reached 34. Compared to other testers with 20 total attributes, it has already widened the gap in level. After seeing his attribute panel, Chu Ming felt a slight expansion. The little skeletons were summoned again. Take a look at the attributes. Chu Ming is happy. Little Skull, Chu Ming, level. LV1, power. 3. Star top level, skill. Skeleton team. When more than 10 small skeletons are fighting at the same time, physical defense plus 2%, attack speed plus 2%, movement speed plus 2%, and attack speed plus 2%. Previously, the combat power of the little skeletons was 3. Star medium level. Now it has been upgraded 2 levels in a row. From mid-level, skip high level, and go straight to the top level of 3 stars. The reason is naturally very simple. The spiritual power of the body already has an impact on the overall strength of the summoned object. Chu Ming's spiritual strength has increased from 5 points before to 16 points. More than 3 times as much as before. With such blessings, it is normal for the little skeletons to have their combat power evaluated by 2 consecutive levels. Take a look at the monster on the 9th level in front of you. Named Chaos Guard. He is 2 meters tall, with a fierce face, sharp teeth, and sharp eyes. His skin appears grayish-black and looks very hard. The biggest feature is holding a huge double-edged sword. Simulate Chaos Guard, level. Level 5, power. 3. Star beginner level, introduction. Simulate the chaotic guard of high-dimensional creatures, wielding a giant sword to chop everything down. Does this seem very strong? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Invincible Little Skull. The boss can't understand it anymore. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Invincible Little Skull. The boss can't understand it anymore. Simulate the chaotic guard wielding a giant sword with a murderous aura. The appearance feels very strong. People outside the venue, after seeing the monster on the 9th level of nightmare difficulty. They also exclaimed in surprise. Chaos Guard. Oh my god. It's actually Chaos Guard. I originally wanted to open my eyes and see the 9th level of the trial pass, but now there's no hope. Chu Ming's luck is too bad. That's right, the Chaos Guard is the strongest monster in the trial tower, right? There are over a dozen monsters on the 9th layer, but unfortunately, they hit the Chaos Guard. Brothers, who can elaborate on the Chaos Guard? This is a monster made by imitating the chaotic guards of high-dimensional invasions. Although its strength is not as good as the genuine version, its combat skills are super skilled. High attack, high speed, high defense, no weaknesses. Chu Ming, this wave is difficult. Chu Ming, this wave is difficult. Not only did the people on site estimate so. This is also what Zhao and Tang, who are knowledgeable, said. Well, although Nightmare's 9th layer is fixed to brush 3. Star elites. As both 3. Star elite monsters, the actual combat difficulty is also different. Simulating chaotic guards is the most difficult monster to deal with in real combat. After all, the original design used captured chaotic guards as the raw data. The power of high-dimensional creatures is far beyond that of ordinary monsters. Chu Ming's little skeleton is not a match for the chaotic guards. Chu Ming could see that the chaotic guards were very strong. But Chu Ming didn't have much psychological burden either. Little Skull, let's go. The skeletons let out cheerful hisses and rushed forward. Chaotic guards also act collectively. 10 small skeletons. Battle with 10 chaotic guards. Simulate the chaotic guard's exaggerated giant sword, scraping a cold light and smashing it onto the skull's head. But the seemingly fragile little skeleton stretched out its own sword. Easily resolved the opponent's giant sword swing. Even launching a series of counterattacks. After a few rounds, the little skeletons seemed to have an advantage. Even Zhao Tianxiong, from the knowledgeable dragon inspection team, was taken aback. The lowest level summoning beast skeleton. Surprisingly, it is a Chaos Guard hammer with a 3-star combat power and excellent practical combat ability, 1.on.1. How could this be possible? The strength displayed by the little skeleton is even stronger than that of the chaotic guards. This is the lowest level summoning beast. I don't understand. Why should the little skeleton defeat the chaotic guards? After a moment, watching the decreasing chaos of the guards, Zhao Tianxiong sat down and wiped his forehead. Yes, Chu Ming has already created so many miracles. It's normal to create records that I can't understand. Tang Lao, it seems that you have to accept it. Ha ha ha. Tang Lao also chuckled and asked, Zhao Lao, it seems that you really appreciate this young man. What, are you trying to make him your special recruit? Zhao Tianxiong remained non-committal. But it still depends on the other person's own wishes. After all, his grades can secure him admission to Longdu University. That's the highest academic institution in our Dragon Kingdom, countless people dream of joining it. In just 1 minute, only 5 chaotic guards were left beaten. The overall situation has been decided. But the combat intelligence of chaotic guards is very high. They don't just foolishly stick to their ground like ordinary monsters. I can't beat it now. The chaotic guards gathered together and suddenly turned their targets around. Chaotic guards say to capture the thief first, capture the king. A few chaotic guards alive are coming straight towards Chu Ming. Chu Ming was also startled. But Chu Ming still has a big trick at his disposal that is useless. The spirit of resentment flows on. Chu Ming plans to summon countless vengeful spirits to protect himself. But it came to an abrupt end. Because the combat response of the little skeletons is not overwhelming. Several small skeletons actively replayed and immediately blocked the momentum of the chaotic guards charging forward. Several other small skeletons were sandwiched from the side and back. The chaotic guards with wide loopholes were hacked to death by chaotic knives. The little skeletons with outstanding combat power effectively protected their masters. Chu Ming didn't even have time to try his skills. The trial is completely over. The Tower of Trials with nightmare difficulty for Chu Ming pass. And achieved full marks with a crushing posture. 3,600 points. The association staff, trembling with excitement, loudly announced. First place in this trial. Chu Ming. And broke the highest trial record of the Immortal Sea City Association. And with the official announcement of the association, the entire scene was thoroughly fried. Mom asked me why I was kneeling and looking at the scoreboard. Terrifying, terrifying. If I had 360 points, I would have chuckled. What kind of beast is this Chu Ming? Xianhai City has the highest score in history, so it's worth watching today. Chu Ming, this individual, is really soaring. He probably can enter a large company in Xianhai City. Xianhai City. It's estimated that Chu Ming will go to the genius class at Longdu University and work in Longdu in the future. Envy, why isn't my profession a summoner of the undead? The summoner of the undead is still a trash profession, but Chu Ming is too strong. Chu handsome guy doesn't know what girlfriend he has. Little girl, As soon as Chu Ming came out of the trial tower, he found himself surrounded by hundreds of people. Various curiosities, questions, and compliments. Chu Ming, may I ask why you are so worried? The summoner of the undead is actually very strong, isn't it? Brother Chu Ming, take me along with you. I am also a summoner, and the first level of my summoning skills has been destroyed. Chu Ming, I used to think you were very handsome, but now I feel even more handsome. Do you have a girlfriend? A few headhunters in suits excitedly approached with contracts in hand. Mr. Chu Ming, we, Xingqiang Group, sincerely invite you to join us. You will be joined by 13 employees. Chu Ming, our Holy Light Knights are missing a deputy commander. Come, let's embark on an adventure together. Chu Ming, join our company and we will recommend you to study at the top 10 universities in China. Chu Ming, classmate. Mr. Chu Ming. Rao is not considered an introverted person by Chu Ming. But facing this kind of enthusiasm, I still can't resist it. After confirming the registration of the association is completed, Chu Ming hurriedly left. And watching Chu Ming's figure disappear from afar, Jin Yu stomped her foot in frustration and said, "Oh, I missed a talent. I didn't expect Chu Ming to be so powerful. It's difficult to pursue Chu Ming again now. Really, Sister Mo, I knew I had sent you to seduce. Otherwise, if you're second and Chu Ming is first, they're all next to me, then I'll just play around." Chu Ming shrugged off the following fans and found a remote corner of the park. Start reviewing the changes after your official job transfer. Firstly, of course, it is material benefits. Chu Ming won the first place and received a prize of 300,000 yuan specially prepared by the association for the first place. This money has been transferred to Chu Ming's account. You can open the personal panel to view it. For Chu Ming, who is now impoverished, 300,000 yuan is still very valuable. Money is important. Of course, what is more important is the improvement of professional strength. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Official Job Transfer, Get Ready. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Official Job Transfer, Get Ready. After the trial, Chu Ming was directly promoted to level 1. Becoming a level 2 professional with a slightly increased main attribute. Chu Ming also devoted his freedom attribute points to his spirit. The panel properties have changed to Name. Chu Ming, Occupation. Undead Summoner, Talent. 10 stars, Level. LV2, Power. 6, Agile. 6, Constitution. 6, Spirit. 18, Main Attribute, and due to the formal transfer, I have also acquired new vocational basic skills. Skeleton Arrow Rain LV1. Summons 5 skeleton archers to perform a round of arrow rain shooting on a designated area, followed by the disappearance of the skeleton archer. This is a basic AoE skill. Equivalent to summoning 5 professional long-range shooters for a round of volley shooting. And after a blur, the new skills acquired by Chu Ming have also become Skeleton Arrow Rain LV1, 10 stars. Summons 20 skeleton archers to shoot 3 rounds of arrow rain in a designated area, followed by the disappearance of the skeleton archer and a 50% reduction in cooldown. See the extent of skill enhancement. Chu Ming couldn't help but nod in satisfaction. Shoot once with 5 marksmen. Shoot 3 times with 20 marksmen. The gap during this period is too big. Moreover, it has shortened the cooling time. But that's not even the whole story. At this moment, the system reminds Chu Ming. New task has been released. Conquer the instance of the White Bone Temple, and a successful attack will once again strengthen the skeleton arrow rain skill. New task. Surprisingly, it can strengthen the skeleton arrow rain again. Chu Ming feels that his current state is already very impressive. I don't know if I really need to complete the reinforcement again. To what extent can this skill be strong? Chu Ming is very curious. In contrast, Chu Ming didn't care much about other things. Chu Ming decided not to accept many previous headhunting invitations. Without delay, Chu Ming is ready to set off immediately. I simply purchased some adventure props in the market. The most important thing is that it can be considered a necessary prop for home travel adventure, monster hunting, killing, and smuggling. 1 is the Space Ring. Space Ring, quality. Excellent. A space ring with 20 storage compartments. This magical space ring, similar to a dimensional pocket, is also one of the benefits for professionals. Only professionals have the ability to start. 20 squares make up for it, and when you have money, you can switch to a higher level one. The second is detection glasses. Prop detection glasses, shaped like glasses in a Dragon Ball, can be worn to view monster information no higher than level 10, but cannot see people. There are also more advanced detection props, but they are more expensive. These two essential props cost Chu Ming over 200,000 yuan. Some other small pieces are not cheap either. After working hard for half a day, I have basically prepared all the necessary props. I also rented a simple youth apartment. Washed up a bit. But at the moment of departure, Zhao Tianxiong contacted Chu Ming through connections. It was Vice President Zheng He from Xianhai College who came to take Zhao Tianxiong to find Chu Ming. As the head snake of this land, it is naturally easy for Zheng He to find Chu Ming. He actively introduced to Chu Ming, saying, "Chu Ming, Professor Zhao Tianxiong is a renowned senior professor in Longdu. You performed very well in the trial before. Zhao Lao has noticed your potential and plans to make you his special recruit. This is an opportunity to soar to the top of the Dragon City, but we need to seize it well. Don't be fooled by Zheng He sending someone to report Chu Ming before. But now he is eager for Chu Ming to follow Zhao Tianxiong. If Chu Ming is asked to leave early, the quota will fall on the second place Su Mo or Zheng Mu, the son of Principal Zheng. Although Su Mo has a slight advantage in score. But Zheng Mu only drank his hatred after challenging the difficulty of nightmares. With this in mind, coupled with the need to smooth out some relationships, there is still a high chance of being enrolled in the genius class. Zhao Tianxiong also looked at Chu Ming with an appreciative gaze and said, "Little brother, I have also seen your previous performance, which is indeed very stunning. However, the profession of Summoner of the Undead often has some inconveniences in enrollment and daily life due to the appearance of its summoned items. Your profession is niche, and many university courses are not suitable for you. Why don't you follow me to recruit students? I'll teach according to your characteristics. Although there may still be some minor restrictions during classes at school, but extracurricular homework is definitely free to play. Professor from Longdu personally invited and directly recruited. This is indeed a very attractive option. But that's for Chu Ming before." During the half-day after the trial ended, Chu Ming basically figured out what level his grades belonged to. The highest historical record in the entire Xianhai city area. This indicates that my current route is correct. Go to Dragon City to study, even at the top Dragon City University. There may not be any better development. Moreover, it is necessary to reduce the efficiency of doing system tasks for this. The most crucial point. That is the profession of Summoner of the Undead, which is limited in academic pursuits. Chu Ming had heard before that some relatively niche professions often face discrimination in their studies, even subject to some restrictions. Just like the Summoner of the Undead. There's no way, compared to most other professions, the Undead Summoner is indeed more difficult to accept. After all, no one wants to see skeletons walking everywhere and decaying corpses running around. It is unlikely that the school will allow Chu Ming to randomly recruit undead creatures to run around. It's also impossible to give Chu Ming any resources to practice. Even if one becomes a special recruit for Zhao Tianxiong, as long as they stay in school, they cannot avoid being restricted. Instead of being restricted in studying in Dragon City, it's better to walk the wild path to the end. So Chu Ming said in a very sincere tone. I'm sorry, Mr. Zhao. Going to Longdu to study is indeed a valuable opportunity. But I can transfer to the position of undead summoner as a scattered person, including achieving good results in the trials. They all come from my current cultivation methods. Instead, studying at Dragon City. As you mentioned earlier, I may be negatively affected because my skill is to summon undead spirits. I want to continue my own cultivation method now. Zhao Tianxiong sighed. Being able to steadfastly pursue one's own path is truly youthful and full of ideas. This is commendable. Unfortunately, it's a pity. However, you may have the opportunity to go to Longdu University later on, and you may not really need the old and outdated special admission spots. Farewell to the two. Chu Ming set off towards the position of the White Bone Temple. According to the map in the adventure manual, the White Bone Temple is located about 100 kilometers north of Xianhai City. There is a White Bone mountain range covered in ancient battlefield ruins. The entire mountain range is shrouded in a massive aura of the dead. The average level of monsters there starts at level 5, and the deeper they go, the more powerful they become. The deepest one is the copy of the White Bone Temple. Speaking of which, since arriving at Xianhai City, this is the first time Chu Ming has left the city. The wild world is full of crises. However, it is relatively safe near the main roads, stations, and strongholds. First, leave the city and use the paid portal at the campsite outside the city. Continuously use the teleportation gate and continue heading north. I quickly arrived near the White Bone Mountains. End of this chapter.